Greetings, Elestrals fans. Today we've got something a little bit different for you. We've got a deck profile. With Clash coming out, I figured we should start making deck lists so players can kind of see how Elestrals deck building works. You know, what they can make. These are probably going to be casual deck lists, but currently I've been having a lot of fun with Thunderstorm. So yeah, we're going to get into the deck. Kind of get into why I chose some of these cards, and you know, it's been performing okay, but it feels very consistent. All right, so first of all, to start off, we've got 3 Titanostrike, Champion of Zeus. This card, when you cast it, you can search for your deck for a Thunderstorm and add it to your hand. It's a good card, makes the deck run. It's a 4/4 body, which is super great. We run Mount Olympus in here as well. So, you know, it's a solid card. If you're running a Thunderstorm deck, you gotta play Champion of Zeus Titanostrike. Next up, we've got kind of the rest of the Thunderstorm package going on here. We've got 2 Moonrise Titanostrike. We have 2 Funglows, and we've got 2 Brontoglows. All of these cards work with Thunderstorm itself. Titanostrike from Moonrise is a 2/4, so he's not very offensive, but when you cast a Thunderstorm, you can expend a Thunder to target and destroy an Elestral. Really good removal. Your opponent drops a big body on you. You cast Thunderstorm, you can cast it correctly or incorrectly, expend a Thunder, pop their big guy. It's pretty good. Running it at 2 feels a little bit bricky. I mean, it's not very aggressive, and that's kind of the problem that this deck currently has, is it's not very aggressive. Our second card here is Funglo. He's a 1/1. He's a pseudo stadium. Thunder Enchanted Elestrals get +1 attack. That includes your opponent's, which has been used against me. And then when a player casts Thunderstorm, you can special cast, not special ascend. You can special cast a Brontoglow from your hand or deck. This is good because Brontoglow creates a ton of field advantage. He's a 6/5. You can disenchant Thunder from your Funglow in order to suppress each Elestral on your opponent's field until the next turn. When this Brontoglow destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, you can special cast a Funglow from your underworld. Now, I went with 2/2 here. The idea is you can kind of hard ascend into this as well. It's not bad. 6/5 is a pretty good body, and if you have Olympus out, he's an 8/7, which is really hard to deal with. But I didn't want to clog my deck with 3 Funglows. Funglow is very much not good on his own, so he does need Thunderstorm to support it, which, you know, this searches, and then when we get to it, I do run 3 Thunderstorms in the main, which do come out in certain side deck scenarios. So that is pretty much our Thunderstorm package, the guys who support Thunderstorm. Next up, we've got some generic stuff. We've got Mr. Ass Rabbit here, triple Ass Rabbit. This card is really good in Elestrals in general. When you cast him, when he receives a Thunder, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, take 1, add it to your hand. Your opponent doesn't get to see. He's got a 5 booty, a 2 attack. You know, with Olympus on the board, he's a 6. It's kind of crazy to get over. It's just a generically good card, and a lot of Elestrals decks play it in general. You're playing Thunder, you may as well play it. Then we've got 2 Joltons. Jolton is a generic stadium searcher. So when you cast this Jolton, you can search your deck for a stadium rune, add it to your hand. He's a 4/2, so under the stadium, he becomes a 5. And overall, he's just generically pretty good. He's the best in Thunder itself, because you're in Element, right? So if you're in Thunder, you search the Thunder field, it's just a bonus. He's a 5. Super good. I think 2 is enough. I might bump it to 3, just because he's a pseudo 5. Next up, we have 2 Quackles, just for some healing. Quackle's alright. When you cast him, you can heal 3 Thunders. We're running a lot of Thunder in this deck. It gets very expensive. Thunderstorm costs 2, everything costs 2 in this deck, so it gets pretty expensive. It's a good card to have. And then finally, for our Thunder guys, we've got Arcolith. This card is limited to 1 on the ban list in December or something like that. I forget. So this Arcolith can be cast with 2 Thunders if your opponent has 2 attack position Elestrals. When you cast him, he takes 3 Thunder Spirits from your Underworld and enchants them anywhere on your field. It could be to himself, it could be to your runes, it could be to your other Elestrals, it could be whatever you want. But under Olympus, he is massive. He becomes a... he gets 5 under him if you put them all under him, so he's an 11-9. He gets really big, and it's a very, very scary card. It's not as good as it used to be, but it is still a very good card. Your opponent can counterplay around it, but it is super good, and if you're playing Thunder, you have to play it. And then for the last of the Elestrals, I am playing 3 Champion Galaxy. When he receives water, he swaps all attack and defense on the field, which it kind of hurts. It doesn't really hurt Champion of Zeus, Titano. It helps regular Titano. The rest, it's kind of inconsequential. It's okay with Rabbit. It's okay. I haven't really liked it. It hasn't really performed very well in this deck. I might switch it for Eddie. Eddie just might be a better choice instead of the Galaxies. I am running Tsunami, so I wanted to find a reason to have the Waters in the Spirit deck, and Galaxy's just a good card. So it hasn't performed very well. I think the deck needs more aggressive power, and while this is a 1-turn push by itself, it doesn't really do it on the subsequent turns. So that's it for the Elestrals. We're running, I believe it's 20? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 Elestrals, which means we're running 20 runes. So we'll get into the runes here. First up, Triple Thunderstorm. We're not running Hurricane in this deck, but Thunderstorm is target a rune, destroy it. I think this is the correct ratio for this deck. Thunderstorm is never bad in your hand. However, Funglow is bad in your hand if you don't have Thunderstorm. So, opening a Funglow with a Thunderstorm is fine. Opening a Funglow with Titano Strike is fine. But opening Funglow, with nothing else is pretty bad. So as long as you have this in your hand, you're pretty set. And like I said, you can always miscast it to get Funglow's effect anyway and start pushing. Then we run our Divine, Zeus. I'm running 2. Zeus is a really good card. It helps this deck push over things that normally it can't, especially when you don't have Mount Olympus on the board. He gives something -3/-3, you punch over it. Zeus is just a very generically good Divine, and yeah, it's good. You don't really Nexus in this deck. You probably could, but it doesn't feel great. And then we're running 2 Mount Olympus for our Joltons. It gives all of the Thunder Enchanted Elestrals +1/+1 per Thunder under them. Good card, helps us push for damage. Not many people are running Stadiums besides Frost right now, so this actually can be pretty devastating against certain opponents. But, if you're running Jolton, if you're running Thunder, it's pure Thunder basically, so you should run the Mount Olympus. Then we go on to our main deck removal. We have Race to the Top. This card is also at 1. If you don't know what it does, you can only cast this you can only cast Race to the Top when Mount Olympus is enchanted on your field, or enchanted in general. You can target 2 Elestrals, destroy the one with the lowest defense between those 2 Elestrals. It's just super generic, good removal. It's not amazing. It could probably come back to 2 or 3. Just because Thunder's kind of that element that is kind of catch-all. It does a lot of different stuff. It doesn't really, it's a lot about battle, but it has weird removal like this that is pretty good. Then we run the one of Earthquake. 2 Earths, target it, destroy an Elestral. It's good, outs the big bodies. If you're playing a deck that has room for the Earths, you may as well put it in. Then we've got our generic runes. We've got 3 Ambrosia, which is healing for your deck. It returns 3 of any element spirits from your Underworld to your Spirit deck. Always good. Most decks run 3. Unless you're some specialized deck like Blizztrix, this card is great. Next up on the generics is Gorgon's Gaze. Here comes Chungi. You better like and sub. He is ruining my video. I love you, Chungi. Alright. Gorgon's Gaze. This is the best counter rune in the game. It's not even close. But this card targets an Elestral. If the effect of the Elestral is on the chain, you can negate and destroy it. And then, after that, until the next turn, until the end of the current turn, this text has been updated. The Elestral is suppressed, and then it cannot receive enchantments. Attack, Nexus, or Ascend. It is a catch-all. It does everything. This card is amazing. If you're running an Elestrals deck, you play 3 of this, regardless if it's an OTK deck, regardless if it's a stun deck, regardless. You play 3 Gorgon's Gaze. You have to play 3 Gorgon's Gaze. It's the best card in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets put on the ban list eventually. Next up is 3, Shield of Achilles. Shield of Achilles is also another counter. When your opponent's Celestial declares an attack, you expend spirits equal to its enchantment cost to return it to the hand. It's just good removal. It's a little bit better than Poison Tipped Arrow because there's a lot of stuff that dodges Poison Tipped Arrow nowadays, but Shield of Achilles is a good card. Most people run 3 Shield, 3 Gorgons. Sometimes PTA, sometimes not. And then our last 2 cards are Tsunami. Personally, I think this card is broken and it should be at 1 on the ban list. Tsunami changes all Elestrals to defense position unless they are water enchanted. This card is crazy. It blanks an entire battle phase by itself. Its counterplay forces you to run water, which makes water just generically good in every single deck. It only costs 1. Tsunami's great. A lot of decks play 3 of this card. Most of them play 2, depending, because you might run into water and then it's useless. But this card is, it's good. So that rounds out our 40-card main deck here. We'll get into the Spirit deck really quick. Spirit math is pretty simple in this deck. It is pretty pure. First up, we got our Thunder Spirits. We've got 5, 10, 14 Thunder Spirits. We've got 2 Terratlas for the Earthquake, 3 Leviathans for the Galaxies as well as the Tsunamis, and then we've got 1 Flurmine for the Cryoblasts in the side deck. That's basically it. Like I said, this deck is very expensive. I've had turns where I spend 9 spirits in 1 turn just to get over a bunch of stuff. You know, Thunderstorm into Special Cast Bronto Glow is 4 by itself, plus the Funglow, which is 5. You cast a Zeus, that's 3 more. If you're disenchanting from Funglow and you re-enchant the Funglow by summoning it back with Bronto Glow, it's 7. It gets really expensive. 14 is a bit much in most people's eyes, but this is very expensive, and I felt comfortable running 14. You could probably run less, get away with it, but honestly, it feels nice. It feels nice. And then finally, we've got our side deck. I'll make a disclaimer here. I am not good at building side decks. I don't quite understand siding patterns yet. I don't have a lot of tournaments that I enter, but these are my general thoughts with it. So first of all, we have 3 Fulgaris, Champion of Zeus. Fulgaris is a 3/3. You can disenchant a Thunder from your Zeus in order to target a face-down rune, and if you do, give this Elestral +2 until the next turn. The idea behind this is if you need more aggressive pushing, and your opponent's running something like Argo, and they're focused on Argo and Shield, you run the Fulgaris to, you know, beat over the Argo, swing in for 5 or 6, and that's the idea behind it. I don't know how great it is, but it's not a bad card. This card is good. Again, I'm not great at siding, but that's the idea. You side out a couple Thunderstorms, maybe a Bronto Glow. You put these in, and then this is your back row removal, but he's also aggressive power. To pair with that, you get the third Zeus. If you're running triple Fulgaris, you may as well run the Zeus. You can't search Zeus currently. Hopefully we get a searcher next set. But you do side in the third Zeus when you side in the Fulgaris. Next in the side, resting on your laurels. This card, if your opponent has a bigger advantage than you, target their guy, blow it up. It's pretty good. That's not the exact effect. It targets their lowest enchanted guy and you blow it up. But it's good against stuff like Blizzstrix, Bears. You just run this to out big guys that swarm the board. Next up is Poison Tipped Arrow. Sometimes Shield isn't great. Poison Tipped Arrow is better, so you side these in. This is kind of like Trap Hole from Yu-Gi-Oh! When the Poison Tipped Arrow is cast, when your opponent casts an Elestral, you target it, gets -2 attack until the end phase, and then during the end phase, you can expend a spirit equal to the enchantment cost and blow it up. Good generic card. Some people run it over Shield. I think it's not as great because there's a lot of ways to dodge this card, and it'll come in and out of the format just like Shield. Next up is Boombat. I've been debating putting this in the main, but Boombat is also removal. He's a 2/1. You disenchant Thunder from the Boombat, target and destroy an Elestral. Generic removal doesn't care about what's going on. I've thought about putting these in over the regular Titano Strikes just because it's more generic. It's a good card. Again, it's for those big swarm, big body decks that put all their cards into one big guy, and you know, this just gets rid of it and you just continue on with your life. And then we have 2 Spoiled Fruit for those pesky healing decks. This card has a lot more applications than you might think. So it can only be played when an opponent activates a card effect that returns a spirit from their underworld to their spirit deck. Negate the effect, destroy the card. This works on a ton of stuff. It works on Champion Plucky. It works on any kind of healing, Sluggle. It works on Hibernation. There's a ton of stuff that this card works on that you don't really think about, and it's just really good. Yeah, it's just a good side deck card in general for decks that have important cards that heal, you know, inadvertently, but yeah, it's a good card. Next up is Pandora's Box. This card negates searches. It is a counter. This Pandora's Box can only be activated when your opponent activates an effect that searches or casts a card from their deck. Negate the effect, and then your opponent sends 2 cards from the top of their deck to the underworld. It's good. It's good against certain matchups. It's very good against stuff like Blizzstrix. Well, maybe not Blizzstrix, but it's good against stuff like Bears, which special casts from the deck. It's very good against Hermes, which dumps stuff from the deck, special cast stuff from the deck. Pandora's Box is just a generically good card, and it's only going to get better as the game gets faster. Pandora's Box, you should pick them up. They're in the starter decks. You know, one day we might be main decking this card. It's very good. And then finally, we've got Cryoblast. For those low defense decks, it costs a Frost. Target an Elestral that's not Frost until the end phase. Give it -2 defense, and if it hits 0, it gets destroyed. That does combine with Zeus, because Zeus also lowers defense. He gives -3 defense, so you can give something -2, -3. If it hits 0, it just blows up. It's a good card, good side deck card for low defense decks like Water. Well, depends on the Water deck, but it's very good against Fire specifically. But yeah, that is the deck list, guys. This is my first deck list that I'm doing, just because I felt this deck, it feels really good. We know that we're getting more support in the next set, which if you haven't seen, is Divine Champions live stream. If you guys are getting ready for that, you know, maybe this deck will improve. I love Brontoglow. I think it's a really pretty card, and it's super cool. Mushroom Gang, rise up. Anyway, have a good rest of the day, you guys.